Law 4. Make it satisfying. The most important rule of behavior change. A feeling of pleasure is a message to the brain, this feels good, let's repeat this next time. When you experience pleasure, your brain learns that behavior is worth remembering and repeating. What is immediately rewarded is repeated. What is immediately punished is avoided. The first 3 laws increase your chances of doing the habit this time. The last law increases your chances of repeating the habit next time. The mismatch between immediate and delayed returns. It is common for us to feel good about our immediate results, but bad about our long-term outcomes when we practice bad habits. It is the opposite with good habits. The immediate result is unpleasant, but the ultimate outcome is satisfying. A certain amount of success in just about every field involves ignoring an immediate reward for the long-term one. It is best to add a little immediate pleasure to the habits that will pay off in the long run, and a little pain to those that don't. The vital thing in getting a habit to stick is to feel successful. Even if it's in a small way, the feeling of success is a signal that your habit paid off and the work was worth the effort. It is satisfying to make progress, and you can monitor your progress using visual measures such as moving paper clips, hairpins, or marbles. These little wins can go a long way. For example, for each sales call you make today, move a marble from one jar to the complete jar. For each 25 minutes of writing, move a paper clip. Visual measurements can take many forms: diet journals, workout logs, download progress bars, or even page numbers in a book. Keeping a habit tracker may be the best method to monitor your progress. Using a habit tracker is a simple way to determine whether you did a particular habit. Tracking becomes a reward in and of itself. Crossing a task off your to-do list, completing an entry in your exercise log, or writing an X on the calendar is satisfying. In spite of your best efforts, it is inevitable that life will interrupt you at some point. A bad day at work, a bad performance, or a bad workout can happen to anyone. When you're having a bad day, you don't realize how valuable it is to just show up. Lost days hurt you more than successful days help you. Don't break the chain. Every time you cross a day off your calendar for a given habit, you are creating a chain. Showing up is so important. Missing 2 days or links in a row is the start of a bad habit. Even if you usually do 50 push-ups, just do 10 on that given day if that means not breaking the chain. Breaking a bad habit. Make it unsatisfying. A behavior is less likely to occur when pain is immediate. Being held accountable by a partner is a good way to keep your desired habits in check. We all want to be liked and respected, so we would rather just avoid the punishment that we will be held accountable to. For example, I owe you $10 every time I miss a workout, plus the respect I lose for failing to do what I said I would. Your behavior is more likely to be influenced by concrete and immediate consequences. The habit contract. You can create a habit contract to hold yourself accountable, just as governments use laws to hold citizens accountable. You can create a habit contract either verbally or in writing, which makes it clear that you will honor a particular habit, and there will be punishments if you do not. You can then use your accountability partners to enforce this contract. Okay, so it's one thing to read a book, but another to actually apply it to your life. So I'm going to try and visually represent how I've personally been using this book to build systems around my habits the past few months. The good habits I wanted to develop were more consistent workout and reading routines. The bad habit I wanted to eliminate was becoming distracted and over-consuming social media. First, I completed the habit scorecard. This gave me a good idea of habits I could try to eliminate, but more importantly, it gave me an idea of daily habits I was already doing that I could stack my new habits with. Ultimately, when you find the habits you want to work on, you want to be pushing the desired good habits towards this side of the spectrum and the bad habits towards this side. For the working out habit, the first step was to make the cues more obvious, and I had a few tools that I could use from the book. In this case, I used what James Clear calls the implementation strategy. So I will work out at 6 a.m. in the living room. Next, I tried as best I could to design my environment conducive to this new habit. I took my dumbbell set out of the closet and I put them in the living room. I also found a few pictures of healthy physiques on the internet and put them in places around the house as cues that would remind me of the habit. Next, I moved on to the craving phase. So to increase dopamine and motivation, I bundled the workout with listening to some of my favorite podcasts, and I also implement reprogramming of the brain. So I tell myself repeatedly, I don't have to do a workout, but I get to build strength and a healthier body. And that subtle shift in mindset has gone a long way. Ideally, joining a gym or finding a group of people to work out with would be even better to strengthen this habit. But unfortunately, all the gyms are closed where I live, so I'm kind of on my own, and these two tools will have to suffice for the moment. Next, making it easy. Using the 2-minute rule to make sure that I don't end up like most people starting a new habit that try to do too much too soon. I want my habit to not feel like a challenge at all. So my 2-minute rule was putting on my workout clothes and stretching. And if that was the only thing that I accomplished, then that was fine because I showed up. But you will quickly find that once you are there, you are now motivated to get the workout done. So it is weird, but the motivation seems to come after you get the habit started. My mindset is focused on small 1% changes, compounding into meaningful results, and that my systems will get me the results and not vague goals. Remembering that my main focus at this point is just making sure that I show up and start anchoring this habit in place. And once you are consistently showing up, you can increase the progression. To decrease friction, I made the rule that I'm not allowed to check my phone until the workout was complete. If I get distracted by emails or social media, it is one excuse and one step of friction between myself and the workout getting completed. Lastly, this was a game changer for me, priming the environment. When I place my shoes, yoga mat, and dumbbells out the night before, I skyrocket my show up and workout percentage. As soon as I place these items out the night before, I feel like the ritual has begun and the workout is already complete because I have zero excuses. So with those 3 phases of the loop systemized to get me to show up, I only had the last phase of the loop left, which was to make sure I keep repeating the habit. I use both of these tools somewhat together to close out the loop. I use a habit tracker. Crossing the day off the calendar becomes the reward, and it also forces me to not want to break the chain. I also take a picture of my calories that I burnt, and I send that picture to my partner, and that also increases the satisfaction. Mindset-wise, I begin with identity, and I remind myself after each workout that I want to become the kind of person that enjoys fitness and doesn't miss workouts. I don't put all my focus on outcomes such as I want to be 10 kilograms lighter by such and such a date. And I also remind myself that I need to be patient for the results and that I'm probably still somewhere in this valley of disappointment before I will see those results. I went through the same process with the reading habit with a few minor changes. So I used the habit stack. After making a coffee, I will read for 90 minutes. So making a coffee was my trigger cue for reading. My one space, one use rule was reading on the balcony of the apartment. One of the best parts of my day is a nice cup of coffee in the morning, so this was the perfect thing for me to bundle my reading habit with. Remembering how dopamine raises in anticipation of a reward and not the reward itself, I wanted this dopamine spike for wanting coffee to start becoming associated with reading. My 2-minute rule was to read 1 page of The Daily Stoic by Ryan Holiday. Super simple. Again, in the beginning, all I was concerned with was showing up and getting this habit anchored. Then I slowly built up the habit to 90 minutes. For the bad habit I was trying to eliminate, to make the habit invisible, I started by making my phone as boring as I possibly could, which required deleting a lot of apps. I used the reprogramming tool to highlight the unattractive side of over-consuming social media, telling myself things like, consuming is the easy and lazy option of the masses, and do I want to be a consumer or a producer? Random scrolling through feeds is for losers. So you want to try and paint your bad habit in a light that makes it super unattractive to keep doing. To increase friction, I left my phone in a drawer in another room, so completely out of sight. And to make it unsatisfying, I have an accountability partner. I get my partner to enforce this habit. The punishment is if she sees me using social media during work time, I owe her $10. So that is how I've been using this fantastic book, guys, to get great results so far. Go out and grab a copy of this book for yourself if you haven't already. You're going to take in the knowledge at a much deeper level from all the stories and examples that James Clear gives you in the book, as well as some advanced techniques which we didn't cover in the summary that will help you strengthen your habits. Good luck in your journey. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.